Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday. Today's kind of travel day for me as I get ready to go to some meetings up in Indianapolis. But I still wanted, because I had some time, to go ahead and connect with Dave and kind of go through an update today as earnings continue to come through. Today is still another big bank day. We'll talk about those as Dave gets ready to come online. But just remember that all this market volatility that we're seeing, if you are 5 years out from retirement, it's very important that you know how much risk you have within your portfolio. And to do that, you just need to schedule a financial x-ray by calling 382-0037. Hey, Dave will be with us in just a moment.
Point 7. Kelly Clarkson, some early stuff for her catch. My breath. It's 8:40, 20 here before 9. Let's check in and find out how your money's doing today. Earnings season begins on Wall Street, and the government is throwing numbers at us as well. This could be an interesting day today. Let's check in with Phillip Statler from Statler Financial Services and find out how things are doing. Phillip, we can get a hold of you just about any place you are. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing well today, Dave. I am getting ready to go to Indianapolis for a meeting this afternoon and Thursday and Friday. So you're getting me at the airport today, so it may be a little noisy out there, but I've got a few numbers for us anyway.
Well, assuming you don't get into the contrail of a jet coming off, you're in pretty good shape, and it sounds great this morning. Start out the morning by setting the table briefly. It was a banner good day on Wall Street in at least 3 of the indexes yesterday. Dow was up by almost a full percent, up $237. Standard & Poor's was up by 29.5 yesterday. All of that looked pretty doggone good. NASDAQ they were up a full 100. That was 1.25%. Not bad at all, and that brings us up to this morning. And you and I were talking about how we were going to be watching the retail reports when they start coming out during earnings season. We got the government data dump this morning. Retail sales in September declined by 0.3%, and that was, from what I understand from mine, a major disappointment.
Well, I think it is. I don't have those numbers either. Being mobile right now, that's one of the things I couldn't access. But I did see that that is the first or the biggest decline we've seen in 7 months. So, you know, as the holiday season gets closer, I'm hoping that that's going to be helpful to retail. But it also is some indication of what we may expect from retail as we look at earnings later in this quarter.
Absolutely. Brick and mortar retailers are always under challenges, and that doesn't help in a bit because September numbers would be included in the reports that we get to this week and this month when they come in. The good news on the other side is they revised August numbers upward by 0.2%. We had a 0.4% increase in August, and they revised that upward to a 0.6% increase in August, which at the very least ought to allay some of the panic fears at the very least on Wall Street, saying, okay, fine, data point. We already know things are slowing down by a little bit. It isn't quite that bad across a 2-month smoothed average.
Well, that's true. It's always interesting when they start revising those numbers to see how that really reflects on the market today. I know we were a little bit red before we went on the call today, so we'll see how that looks a little later.
Understood. We did have some companies that have been reporting. We had a slew of banks yesterday morning before the opening. Few more financial interests reported during the day and early this morning. What have we got in terms of a look at the earnings reports so far?
So right now we got 4 more banks, the big guys, reporting this morning, and they're all doing well. And we got Bank of America. They beat by 5 cents a share. Revenue was slightly above what was forecasted. They've had a pretty good increase in their fees, like by 27%. Strong growth, and again, the consumer banking industry seems to be a common thread here, and so they're up about 2.5% this morning. Follow that up with Bank of New York, and they also beat by about 8 cents a share. Revenue was a little below forecast for them. You know, we talked a little bit about interest revenue, and their interest revenue fell 18% from where it was a year ago, not hurting their stock price any, though. They're up about a little over 2% this morning.
Kind of interesting, the banks that are known as being heavy consumer banks seem to be doing pretty well as far as the revenue side. The ones that are business banks and getting those really, really low interest rates on their loans, they're the ones that seem to be getting a little bit of a disappointment on revenue, aren't they?
They do seem to be. We got two others that I have this morning. I got PNC Financial and U.S. Bank Corp. PNC came in and beat by 14 cents a share. Revenue was also ahead of what the forecast was. Again, boosted by higher earnings from loans. They've been able to do more in the loan area. They're up 1.6% this morning. Follow that with U.S. Bank Corp. They beat by 4 cents a share. Revenue, again, above forecast. Same thing, retail. Loans doing better than expected. They're up 1.8% this morning.
Not bad at all. Is that it for the financials? Because I know you had a couple of other consumer goods.
That's it for the financials. The only other one I had was kind of financial, and that's Interactive Brokers.
Okay.
They did miss earnings by 4 cents a share, and revenue fell short also. However, they had a 12% increase when you look year over year when it comes to their commission income. And they're not getting hurt this morning either. They're up, getting close to 1%.
Cool. The discount brokerage line in general is kind of a fascinating business to watch because their commissions and their fees for trading are trending towards zero, and some of them are actually doing free trading for a flat fee these days. The guy that feels capable of doing all of his own investment advice, which I know you would agree is never the best idea, Dr. Heal Thyself never feels really that good. But, the fee structure is really becoming a challenge in that line of work, isn't it?
Well, believe me, they may be giving it up one place, they're getting it someplace else.
You think?
But you're right. It's all the articles I read in the financial world right now is the race to zero when it comes to trading costs.
It's kind of getting to that point. Other tidbits coming out this morning that are affecting things. They're throwing brickbats at Boris Johnson over in England because he said yesterday that he thought he had a deal on Brexit, and now they're all of a sudden picking it apart like legs off a bug in England. So they're in an uproar over there. It doesn't look quite as good when you start looking at the details. And the International Monetary Fund this morning issued a release saying they thought the United States stock market was overvalued, which obviously doesn't help the confidence of investors trading equities in the morning, does it?
No, it really doesn't. And I found this one interesting, too, on the transportation front. J.B. Hunt Transport, they reported, and they missed by 5 cents a share. And their revenues came in slightly above what was forecasted, though. And they've got some pressure in some other areas today. And they are trading, well, let's see if it comes up here. Well, sorry, that chart didn't come. Oh, there it goes. They're trading up 1.8% this morning. So still, their bottom line is not affecting their stock price.
That's interesting because generally the bottom line overall sales have really been costing somebody when they had a miss, at least off of last quarter's reports.
No, that's true. Hey, the last thing I have, it doesn't come out until after the market closes, but I think it's something people need to keep an eye on. Netflix will come out after the market closes today. It's going to be interesting to see what their quarter looks like.
I had them listed as one of the ones to watch today because they're the ones that are getting legendarily heavy competition coming in at them. Apple TV being offered free for buying an iPhone, the Disney streaming service, ESPN setting their service aside and trying to get a fee off of that. There's a whole lot of product out there. Netflix all of a sudden is looking like a trailblazer, but all of a sudden a trailblazer in a real crowded field, right?
Yeah, exactly. We'll have to wait and see what that looks like in the morning.
Going to be interesting down the line. Setting the table for this morning, I mentioned that everything was up. Pretty good numbers yesterday. After a few more reports this morning and a few economic indicators that weren't quite as good as the reports were, where are we heading 45 minutes early, Phillip?
Dave, we're heading down just a little bit, a little pink today. Right now, everything's about down 0.2%, maybe a little bit more. The Dow's down $53. The S&P 500 is down 7. NASDAQ's down 25. So that's kind of where we're heading now. I'll see if I can find interest rates are kind of holding their own down just a little bit. Oil's up by about 0.5% to $53.03. Silver and gold, they're kind of split between the two of them. Gold's up a little bit, silver's down a little bit.
Well, it looks like gold is trending up by a little bit. Think it's going to see 1,500 by the end of the week again?
It's going to depend on what the market does.
That's a limb I'll never get you to go out on, isn't it?
That's right.
Can't blame a guy for trying. Overseas markets, Asian markets, generally up overnight at the close. Europe is a split vote. As mentioned, they're throwing rocks at each other over in England, so the British markets are down this morning. Europe, otherwise, Germany is trading up this morning. Phillip, somebody need to get a hold of you for some solid advice. There are expenses buried in a retirement fund that a whole lot of people don't know exist. How do I find you in order to sort those things out together?
Now, they can give us a call at 382-0037 to schedule their financial x-ray, where we dive down and determine how much risk and how much cost and expenses they're paying inside that portfolio. And then join us every weekend for the Statler Financial radio show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturdays, 10 a.m. Sunday mornings on News Talk 7:30 a.m.
All righty, and we'll be back with the report tomorrow morning here, same time. Phillip, travel safely. We'll catch you shortly, all right?
All right, thanks, Dave. You have a good one.
Take care. It's 105.7 Light FM.
Hey, folks, again, I want to thank you for joining us today. Again, like I said, it's a travel day. I will not be with you tomorrow. And Friday, hopefully we'll be back. Depends kind of on what our schedule looks like, the meeting that we're going to in Indianapolis. So have a great one. If I don't talk to you before, have a great weekend, and I will speak to you on Monday. Have a great day.